A question from Onika, who had big doubts about the nature of the relationship between men and women, and she contested my who follows who video. So I would like to at least present a correction to my who follows who video. It's wrong to say who follows who. It's who follows whom. There's a difference between a subject and an object. I follow him. No, I don't say I follow he. And there's a reason why. I mean, one is the subject, and one is the object, especially with an active verb. And it happens to be that the subject follows the object. Not in the sentence. Onika, who had big doubts, had three intellectual or conceptual confusions to her argumentation, and they come back to some that I've already mentioned, and we have to add a third one. So the two that are rationalisms, pure and simple rationalisms, is the verbs to follow and the verb to feel. These are two verbs that mean what they mean, and I'm going to say this very often from now on: is A, and B is to follow. For A to follow B means that object A comes to the same location as B later in time. Onika was very quick to say, well, I looked up in the dictionary and it means 15 other things. Conceptually, she is missing out on the essentials of it. Every other thing that she mentioned was, or is, a descendant of the primary meaning of the verb to follow. And the active meaning being what it is, it allows for the intellectual meanings. If I said, for instance, all men are mortal, Socrates is a man, therefore Socrates is mortal. Oh, I follow you. Means I understand. But the understanding came after the explanation. You see? And so we have this image, which is a wonderful attribute of humans. And the poets tend to use these images, and they give us new words, or they give us new concepts using old words. But the poets lie. Let's not forget this. The poets lie. Let's not forget how to be precise. Or, I'm sorry, exact. So the verb to follow means one thing. The verb to feel means another. She had a big time understanding what I meant by the woman should do what she feels. She should do what she feels. And from that, what do you mean? She can have a whim? That was her answer. She can have a whim? How is this possible? She must do what the man commands. Well, I'd love to see a woman who does what a man commands. It's just, a woman is not ideal, first of all. And secondly, show me. Show me. Where? Unless they're wearing veils from the top of their heads to the bottom, show me. And even then, those women, when they get home, and they take off the veil, watch out. And if you're a fishmonger and you're selling fish to that woman, get ready to negotiate, my friends. Get ready, because it's going to be one hell of a tough time. And you're going to be following her for a while. And the price of your fish had better be, fairly consistent with the rest of the marketplace, or else you got a problem. To feel literally means using your senses. It doesn't mean your emotions. It doesn't mean this. Feeling, she should feel. If I am in a dark room, I feel my way out. And so it's the active meaning of the verb feel. It's not the passive meaning, oh, I feel like doing this, or, no. Now, I caution you to also think of the word, I want to expand the word feeling here. I'm going to include every sense. All five. And I'm going to even include concepts in one of those senses. I'm going to say that music thing, you'd better start feeling it. And I'm going to say that feeling of music should come before the eyeballs. Her eyes, the woman's eyes, she should be blindfolded on a dance floor. But that's another subject. Consider this experiment. It's the door experiment. You put a man on one side of a door, and the door opens away from him. And he is, say, 3 inches away from that door. his nose, 3 inches away from that door. He's facing the door, and the other side of the door is a woman. And so we have to agree that one of them is a signaling element. Let's say it's the man. And he says, open the door. Now, once he says open the door, the woman is an amplifying element, but she's sentient. She could open the door or she could not. She has free will. If she opens the door, the man walks through, no problem. What if she doesn't open the door? Who follows whom? The guy is going to wait for the door. Now, let's say that he doesn't wait. What will happen? If he was 3 inches away, he will hit the door. He will have moved 3 inches. That movement will, in all likelihood, trigger a reaction in the woman, who will then open the door. Right? And so, Onika will suggest to you that this movement is his movement first, causing her movement, and therefore he moved first and she moved after. I say to you, no, he was stupid first. He moved 3 inches. He shouldn't have been 3 inches away from that door. In dance, there are no 3 inches. We're not dancing. Even if we were 3 inches apart, you should see some dances where they are more than 3 inches apart, and he's following her, and you see, you could almost put a peg between the two, and the peg will not fall because he's following her. The door experiment shows that if he is 1/1000th of an inch off that door, just as in dance, that's how close we are, he will not move. Now, when she decides to open that door, he will move. He'll just fill he'll fill the void, and it will come at such a speed that it seems like he's pushing the door. But in fact, she is opening the door. Women, you have to make a choice. You are either, a Volkswagen Bug, or you're a Ferrari, or you're something in between. Those are the limits, basically. You're between the two. Keep in mind, most men are looking for a solid Volvo. And there's nothing wrong with a Volvo. There's nothing wrong with a Camaro. But who wouldn't want to be a Ferrari? Now, a Ferrari is a high expense, high maintenance item. And the Ferraris of this world are few. And by coincidence, the best drivers get them. So now we're talking about the man. The man has a choice. Again, he's in an interval. He is either Mr. Magoo or Michael Schumacher, or he's between the two. You know, Bo and Luke Duke are in between the two. Good drivers. David Hasselhoff is between the two. Of course, he had an amazing car. But at the same time, he was a good driver. When Kit, would power down its systems, he would drive. There's another vehicle that we can compare to, another type of driver. And that's the truck driver. So, if I'm driving on the road in a Formula One, you see the car shaking, everything's moving very fast. You can't even tell when I've just changed lanes, when I've moved 15 feet to the right. You can't even tell in this noise. You can't see it. Et pourtant, yet, I have sent a signal. Now, if you analyze it and you look at it slow motion, you'll see that, oh, his hand moved here. That was his signal. And so, the signal, it has to be distinguished. A is A. The signal is the signal from the movement. That is to say, the signal precedes any movement that a good car will do, in the next millisecond. And if you're looking at a video and you see, well, oh, clearly he moved half an inch, therefore his movement precedes hers. No. Movement is movement, B is B, signal is signal, and the interest of a signal is that it be as small as possible, and that the movement be as large as possible, that the ratio between the movement and the signal be as large as humanly possible. And in fact, there are some instances when you look at these better dancers where there is no movement, and there is a signal, and there is a mutual consensus, and it's not part of a choreography. And also we spoke of a different type of driver and a different type of vehicle. Well, you can also look at truck drivers and how they turn a corner. mean, some of you men are truck drivers on the dance floor. This is your signal. You're truck drivers. You're driving a truck. Now, is it because you're driving a truck, or is it because you're a truck driver? Ladies, are you a truck? I spoke about cars, but are you, in fact, a truck? Do you have that big a trailer? Or don't you? I don't think so. You can also take this analogy to trucks and to shifting gears. If I'm Alonso driving in my Formula One car, I've just changed gears 3 times. You didn't see nothing. You didn't see nothing. The RPMs may be shifted, but you didn't see it. You didn't see a thing. If I'm a truck driver and I'm switching gears, it's the whole truck moves. Some women are like that too. When you're at a dance floor, you give them a signal to go big. Oh, it's big. It's huge. The correspondence is clear. Now, I think that women don't want to be trucks, and men love to be truck drivers. Women would prefer to be a vehicle. One of the range, even a Volkswagen Bug can be a lot of fun to drive. In fact, I have a lot of fun dancing with women who have very little skill. Because a good driver, and I'm not saying I'm Schumacher, I'm not even Michael Knight, or whatever, David Hasselhoff. I can't think of another driver. I think I'm Bo or Luke Duke, one of the two, or Uncle Jesse. I love to get me on the back of that Volkswagen and fishtail it. And women love it too. I think that at least the ones that react to me. Now, some women hate it, and, thanks, that's enough, bye. But there's a lot of men who love to drive that truck. And I mean, when they want to go big, they go big. It's like when they're driving the truck, they're making the noise, and they're actually moving before the truck is moving. No, you don't have to do that. There's no real reason to do so. It's a mannerism. Horse and a man upon a horse. Now, there are some horse riders, they pick up their knees and drive the spurs into the sides of the horse, and the horse advances. Yeah, that's one way. And then there are certain relationships between a man and certain horses where the man just gets on the horse doesn't move, and suddenly the horse starts moving, and you didn't see a thing happen. Yet there was a signal. Now, maybe the signal is... But I venture to guess that there are other signals, like just squeezing the thighs. Boom. If you go to Sevilla one day and you see these men on horses, well, you get the feeling that the relationship is not violent, eh? It's one of mutual understanding of, machine or amplifying element and signaling element. A very simple understanding. Very simple to... Simplicity is not easy here. It's a simple, linear relationship. I do this, you do that. And I'm sure it comes down to just simple inflections of the thighs and knees, compressions, and various types of squeezes that tells the horse what needs to be done now. In Spanish, interestingly enough, a male dancer, the male unit of a couple is called el caballero. In French, le cavalier. If a woman senses anything with any of her senses, the last one being her eyes, if she feels the music in a certain way, she can do what she wants, and the guy's going to wait. Onika, I hope this answers. If you have any other doubts, please let me know. I can go on about this.